was originally my mentor.
Okay.
And she and her wife, Jamie, always coined the term closing psychosis. They were like, oh, people get psychosis when they get closer to closing. And I thought, oh, I don't know about that. And it's true. The closer to closing people get, the crazier they get. You're dealing with big money. Their negative coping skills come flying out. They're eating chocolate cake. They're divorcing. They're talking about divorce.
Right.
And so I feel like I have the capability that maybe other agents don't have to remove myself emotionally from the situation and just look at the situation and go, hey guys, I know you feel like this is a lot. This is a lot of money. It's a big deal, but you can do it. You're an adult. We can get through this, And I think that compassion and that ability to step back and take your emotion out of the transaction and just look at it like, how can I help them, is a lost art sometimes in real estate.
It's so huge at being able to.
Yeah.
First off, can you regulate your own emotions?
Yeah.
A lot of agents can't. I don't know about most, but a lot can't.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't even regulate your own, how the heck are you gonna? I always talk about how good agents are the ones that are able to smooth the rough edges, not make it worse.
Yep.
And there's so many that unfortunately there's a problem that happens and they turn the molehill into a mountain.
Yep. Because they're getting emotionally involved in a situation that they don't need to be involved in. And so it's like...
It's the opposite of your job.
Yep, it is.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like I have a lot of baby agents on my team right now that they'll call me and go, can you believe that? And I'm like, nope. I need you to remove your emotion out of this. If your buyer says, I don't care, this house is going to fall down tomorrow, and you think it's a terrible house, the only thing you can do is present them with the evidence and say, here's this terrible house. You can buy it if you want. I'm just warning you, but if you want to buy it, that's on you. And you have to walk away knowing that that's their choice. They're an adult.
Yeah.
And so I'm always telling them, get your emotions out of this. Because, it's hard not to because you care. But again, I think, they're adults making adult decisions. So
yeah, they are. So how did the life coaching experience and the skills developed help you become a better realtor? You mentioned that they transfer, and I can imagine that they do, but what's a couple examples of where it really comes into play?
I think it's, when you're doing a transaction, it's a lot of money. And I think when you toy with people's money, it makes them a little squirrely. And so, again, it's that making sure they understand. I try really hard to normalize mental health in the process and say to them, I've had a wife call me. I thought I was going to stroke out. It was the one time I could not take my emotion out because I was like, why would you tell me this? She called and said, I just want you to know after closing day, I'm serving my husband with divorce papers. And I'm like, why would you, don't buy a house? And she was like, nope, I'm just going to, this is what he wants. So I'm going to give it to him. And then I'm serving him with papers the day after closing. Wow. And she was like, but don't tell him. What? You just loaded something like that onto me and I'm supposed to just, and a couple of days later, I sat on it. And a couple of days later, I was like, I know you feel this way, but you might not feel this way. And you might hate him right now because, it's a big transition. And sure enough, we got to closing. And the next day she was like, I'm not divorcing him. I love him so much. I just was feeling some type of way. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, therapy helps. Therapy would be great.
Well, she had you as a therapist.
Right? Yeah. So
that's a big part of our job sometimes.
It's a lot.
That's what transfers.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you get buyers that are younger and their parents are involved and they really want to be the big kid and do the transaction on their own, but yet mom and dad are impeding. That's a fine line you got to walk there too, because you piss off the parents, then, that's a whole. But yeah, I feel like
that is a whole different.
Yeah. I feel like that's a whole different thing. But I feel like the life coaching has taught me to be patient with people's emotions. And again, recognizing that's their emotion and not mine. Again, it's that regulating yourself. It's kind of like, this is not my monkey. Like you go ahead and sleep with that at night.
Right.
Just let me know what you want to do in the morning, So.
How much is your